Welcome to the January 4th meeting of the Rotary Club of South Jacksonville, the first meeting of the year 2022. For our Zoom members, and there are quite a few of them today, we are happy that you can join us. Please remember to mute yourself and submit any questions or comments via chat, or just unmute yourself and talk. Let's see. There are plenty of people greeting today, so I thank all of you. And the prayer and pledge today will be given through the miracle of Zoom by Parker Shields. Thank you, Parker.
Thank you, President Richard.
Turned off because they're just simply eating.
Good afternoon, everyone.
somebody's
Place your
talking now, don't you,
right
Aaron?
hand over your heart and
Okay, but that's your video. It'll start it.
say the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We ask that you guide and direct our club, its leaders, and our actions. Grant that each of us may feel our responsibility to Rotary, to our community, to our country, and indeed to all countries and peoples. Bless our fellowship today and bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies in your service. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And Christy King will call upon you for our Rotary family time.
Yes, thanks, President Richard. Past President Dick Morales is celebrating his birthday on January 6th. Martha Barrett is celebrating her birthday on January 8th, and Larry Calvalero is celebrating his birthday on January 9th. Mayor Lenny Curry and his wife Molly celebrated 18 years of marriage on January 3rd. And last but not least, past President Bill Langley is celebrating 9 years with Rotary on January 8th. And that's it for the Family of Rotary update.
Thank you, Christy. A couple of announcements for us today. A special thank you to past President Robert Harris for hosting our annual holiday luncheon in his lovely home. We are very appreciative of his generosity as well. We appreciate the generosity of all who brought toy donations for Daniel kids that day, and for the 3 Rotarians in Santa Hats who may have been Stephen Jones, Julia Kalinsky, and Robert Massey for delivering them. As the new year begins, please make it a priority to invite that outstanding individual that you know who would enjoy attending a Rotary meeting and experiencing Rotary firsthand. Now I'd like to call on Leslie for a Rotary oratory contest update.
Thank you very much. We are well on our way towards our oratory competitions later this month. We've had to cancel our club's oratory competition because we don't have enough students to have 5 regionals. But the other regionals are still taking place. We still need a little bit of sponsorship support, about $1,000 to $2,000. So if anyone would like to give to the oratory competition, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, unless anybody has any questions for me.
There appear to be no questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody got a parking ticket today. What that means for us is 2 things. One, you get a special sticker. And the second thing is that the gate is up, so we don't have to declare today Steve McQueen Day and run through the ramp. Although I was kind of counting on it. Member Social coming up on January 19th, and words about that from Lisa Marie Winslow. Welcome, Lisa Marie.
So we are kicking off our social calendar this year with a social event at Epping Forest on the 19th from 5:30 to 7:30. We would love for you to come and join us, as well as bring a guest. It should be a lot of fun. We're also then going into February with a social event at the San Marco Theater. The date and all the information will be forthcoming in the gear and emails. March, we will be, by popular demand, doing another Bubbles and Pearls at Rue in San Marco. April is our gala, which we have confirmed our location and more information on the date. That will be a fundraising event, so more details to come on that. May, I can't remember. And then June will be our hail and farewell. So we've got our social events lined up. The dates will be published in the gear. Please invite individuals who you think would like to attend, as well as yourself. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The Mosh event is the one thing that I know about because everybody keeps asking me. And out of self-defense, I memorized the date. It's April 1st.
No,
It's not?
no.
Why?
The gala, we changed venues for the gala because they wanted too much money.
Wow.
Yeah, Mosh was asking for way too much money this year,
Hmm,
so.
okay. Well, other than clarifying that event, we've also made the president look pretty big today.
Sorry about
All
that.
right, it happens all the time. President-elect Charlie Cofer will convene a special meeting of the 2022-23 Board and Officers immediately after the completion of our luncheon meeting on January 11th. For the purpose of selecting officer positions in accordance with the procedures set forth in our club bylaws. That was a lot of stuff to say. Did I miss anything, Charlie? No. Okay, thank you. Our 50-50 drawing. Welcome, Lori.
Before the holidays, we had a winner, and that was Eddie Farhat. Did I say his name? Oh, he's here today. He won $352. The other half is going towards our district grant. So we are starting over today, and the money in the pot is, shoot, I just counted, between 50 and 60 bucks. And we're starting a new deck. So get your tickets out, and let's see, the number is 556410. Who? 556410. All right. Yeah, one out of 32. No, wait.
Thank you, Lori. Are there any other announcements today? Okay, no other announcements. Therefore, it's time to introduce visitors and guests, and I would like to call upon Stephen Jones to do that for us. Welcome, Stephen. I'll be right back.
Anybody here I can't recognize? Happy New Year, everybody. Anybody you don't recognize? You think I'd have this down by now.
job, Steve.
Okay, bye. Ordinarily, at this point, I would be introducing Mark Borello to introduce our guest for today. Our guest became ill, and like everyone else in Jacksonville, and so will not be with us until a little bit later on. The 18th, thank you. And you won't catch me quoting any dates anymore. Anyway.
But you promised to talk about opera.
I did. Okay. No, actually, what I was going to do was run through a list of all of the inaccurate but very laudatory titles that I've given you when I've introduced you. But I'd be pushing my luck. Instead, we have a few words from past President Harlan Bost about.
Gosh, like lost.
Okay.
One of these days. Thank you, President Richards. So this is.
President Richard Doe. I said that's President Richard Doe.
Okay. So I offered to, as a past president, I'll get into that in a minute. One of the fears that you have is your speaker doesn't show. And the worst is when he doesn't show, or he or she doesn't let you know. At least Richard had at least 10 minutes to react. And so I offered to fill some time. So I'm going to talk really slow.
How can we tell?
Well, it's a friendly club. It's a friendly club. This is sort of the past president's history lesson, and this was a program introduced this year by Patty, our executive secretary, Patty. And the reason behind it is that with so many new members in the club, we sort of lose track of the history. And we all know that this club was chartered in 1955, and we have a good long history. But a lot of us founding members have kind of moved on and so forth. So a lot of our new members don't really know what happened back in prior years. So it's kind of interesting to hear that. And so that was the idea, that the past president would come up and talk about their year and when everything ran smoothly, everything was perfect. And so forth. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. A little bit from my year as president in the year 2013, 2014. It's kind of funny that in those days, there was no track to the presidency. We had a secretary, we had a treasurer, we had a sergeant at arms, we had a president-elect, we had a vice president. But other than the president-elect, there was no solid route. There was in the past, prior to when I joined the club in 2001, there was a track, and rumor had it that the person that was president-elect, I guess there was a mutiny, and this individual was told, no, you're not going to be. And so they did away with that. And maybe a past president prior to 2001 could share that story someday, but it should be a good one. In 2013, well, prior to that, I got the call from a former member, past president, former President Jim Lanahan. Harlan, would you serve as president-elect? And I had that Groucho Marx moment where I thought, would I serve as president of any club that would invite me? And I told Jim, I said, man, I don't know what month this was, but it was fairly late in the Rotary year. And I don't know if they had somebody lined up and this person, for whatever reason, failed. But I used to kid Jim, that Bost, as in lost, a B, and Lanahan must have started in the Z's and worked back before he got to me. But I was a Rotarian. I was not a real strong Rotarian. I made a lot of the meetings, but it wasn't passionate. It wasn't a passion of mine. So the club took a chance on me, and I really bought into it. I got into president-elect, and that's when you do all the work, right, Charlie? That's when you go to all the training. It's pre-COVID. There was a lot of that. And of course, PEPS is mandatory, but I did a lot of the other workshops and the conferences, and I did the Rotary Leadership Institute. So I really got into it, and it was good timing for me. My business was in pretty good shape. The kids, they're grown, and they don't care where they're around. So the year 2013, the convention was in Lisbon, Portugal, and that was nice. So we went over, we did attorney firms. We had no discretionary cash to take another week and go to Rome and all this. I think we arrived on a Tuesday and we were out of there on a Friday or something. It was quick. The theme that year was Engage Rotary, Change Lives. And that's always been, I'm a little bit biased, but that's always been my favorite thing. And we past district governor Art McQueen was district governor in 2013, 2014. And he used to say, engage Rotary, change lives. Don't be afraid. Don't be surprised if the life you change is your own. And it kind of spoke to me a little bit. One of the things that I tried to do as president, I wanted to emphasize networking a little more. We were meeting over at the River City Brewing Company. And so I had this great idea to where we're going to take 2 meetings, and instead of a lunch meeting, we're going to meet for dinner. And we're going to meet at 5 o'clock. Well, dinner, open bar, whatever. We're going to meet at 5. And I lined up one year. I had Andre Wallace, who was the chair of the Downtown Investment Authority then, to speak about downtown. And then I forget, it was Greg, it was one of your predecessors at the chamber, the Jacks USA. The guy was here forever.
Wow.
Yeah, he spoke. And what I realized was, this is a lunch club. I mean, you want somebody to come out 5 o'clock, I'm sorry. We're hunkered down in front of Andy Griffith. So the turnout was not all that great. So I learned that a little lesson. The other thing that I really wanted to emphasize on was more service projects. We tried to do a service project every month. And we were a generous club. We were still kind of at transition from a check writing club to roll up your sleeves and go ahead and pitch in. And Chris Boughton, former Rotarian, great Rotarian, was head of service, and our own Stephen Jones worked with her on that, and they put together some really good stuff. We struggle with membership, just like it's a constant battle. You just never can quite let up on it. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody have any questions from? Yes, ma'am.
So at the convention in Portugal, like, who were the big guest speakers or anything that stood out at that convention?
Yeah, great question. And I would just say, to buy myself a little time while I think about that, if you have not been to a Rotary convention, you ought to try to do that, whether you're an incoming president or not. It's just amazing to experience all of that international flair that Rotary.
That's what I hear.
Yeah. But you got the T-shirt, right?
Yeah. Did I? Yeah.
We all got this.
That's true.
There was
Of course.
There was a TV show called The Good Wife going on at that time, and one of this, the detective on that show, female, spoke. It was pretty powerful about polio and you know, the constant climb to try to eradicate polio. That was very good. I think Devo was a group that was really nice. Yes, ma'am.
So you mentioned some former active Rotarians, mentioned Jim and Chris. What happened to them?
Jim Lanahan, I saw him recently. He still lives in the area.
Yeah.
I just think he pulled back. I remember he told past President David Bissell he was just dumping his tray. He just had too much on his plate. He was just clearing it out. Chris Boughton moved to Amelia Island. Yeah, so it was more of a distance.
She is still a Rotarian, and I believe she's been an officer in the club.
Yeah. Les.
Harlan, I remember when you were president, one of your big things was craft talks.
Mm.
And you had a clock that you put up there, and you would time us and yank us from the stage down. Wow.
Les is a plant. I wanted him to bring that up. No, I introduced the Southjax Rotary egg timer, and it was a little device. I've still got it. I set it on 5 minutes. Got it in a Radio Shack, and it's funny. And I'm taking more time, obviously, because we've got a little time to kill. But I was big into craft talks, and we had a craft talk or an industry update every week. Craft talk being, I want to talk about me and what Rotary means to me. And an industry update is, hey, I'm Harlan Bost is in Lost, and I'm in the housing/manufacturing industry. Let me talk about housing right now. So that was pretty interesting. But no, you know, I would send out a notice. Well, somebody else lined up the speakers, but there's a 5-minute deal on craft talk. This is how you do craft talk. And I would tell people before they stepped up there, I said, are you ready? You get 5 minutes. Oh yeah, you're gonna take a while. Well, you know, we take long, us unprofessional speakers, we hem and haw and we fumble and mumble, and it always takes longer to say what you want. And I will tell you, I remember I used to sit, I took Robert Harris's, past President Robert Harris's cue and did away with the elevated table, the anointed table, and just had a podium just like this. And I would sit over here but where Bill is. And former Rotarian Rick Printing, what's the printing company? Hartley, yeah, Rick Hartley. Yeah, I got this. This won't take 5 minutes. He got so, and it was kind of cruel because there I leave it up there on the podium, and there's this just like a bomb gonna go off, and they're talking and they're looking down at this thing, and starting to get nervous in it, and it went off. And when it goes off, it just beeps. He got so flustered, he picked that thing up and it just. That's the only, and I snagged that thing, the only thing I ever caught in my life. But thanks for bringing that up. That was kind of fun. Yeah. Past President Gary.
You mentioned where you went in the convention, and that immediately reminded me of over the weekend I was moving offices, and I found this. It's a hardbound collection of all of the gears, because you know the gear obviously used to come out in print from the year that my dad was president, which was 72, 73. So I was moving it from one shelf to another, and I opened it up, and the one that I opened to was the first meeting of his year. And the first meeting was the immediate past president, I can't remember who it was, who was giving a talk about the convention that he'd just been to, which reminded me that used to be one of our traditions, was that the president-elect who went to the convention would take his or her camera, take some photographs of the convention and do a show. And I remember coming back, and I had all kinds of, I think I actually did a slideshow or something like that, but we got to go to Australia, which was really cool. And it's a great tradition. Charlie, if you're out there, love to see you do it. If you're going to Orlando, you can skip it, but Houston, okay. But seriously, it was a great tradition.
I like that.
We did it for years, and the president-elect, or branding president rather, would come in and give a talk about it, and it was really good.
I can still do that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Past President Robert.
My favorite part of Rotary and people taking the podium. Tell us about your family and a little bit about your business.
Okay.
You got a lot to be proud of. A perfect example.
I'm a lucky guy.
Yeah, way up.
I'm an overachiever. No, I met Patty in North Carolina. I'm from North Carolina, and she's from Jacksonville. And we met in 1983. She was working up there before. She graduated University of Florida, went up to Shelby, North Carolina, took a job. We're going to stay there 2 years, get some independence, kind of grow up and come back. And I met her right before the end of that second year, and I delayed her about 4 more years. She let it be known, and finally she just said, I'm moving to Jacksonville. You can come with me, but you don't have to. We actually got married in '84. Here, we came down here, got married, and went back up to North Carolina, lived a couple of years. We have 3 daughters. We moved here in '88. I've got 3 princesses, and now 2 grand princesses, the youngest being 6 weeks old. So I started working when I came down in '88. I took a job at Lanahan Lumber Company, worked there nearly 10 years. And like a lot of people that work for somebody else, you realize if I was running this place, it would really shine. And then, so you step out on your own. We bought our business, Florida Custom Marble, in '97. And then I realized how I didn't have the answer then, but we bought a cultured marble business that was pretty well worn out. And we started out with like 12 employees, and man, they were sorry. And by the end of the year, there were 2 left, the ones that we wanted to stay. We were forced. And we were fairly bulletproof in the build up to the crash. 2000, 01, 02. I mean, we were. And I joined Rotary in 2001. And then when the crash hit, buddy, it was all over. I mean, our culture marble business dropped 80%. We're talking just like home building permits, because our market was production. And those permits dropped 80%. From 2006 to 2010 and 11, that was the bottom of the trough. We remade ourselves during that 5-year slog through the desert as a hard surfaces fabricator, granite, man-made quartz, and some of the newer composites. I still do coriated solid surface. We shut down the marble plant back in 2000, at the end of 2010. So business is good now. It's not as great as you might think because our costs are just killing us. We still sell a lot to production builders. It's about 1/3 of our business. We do all the fabrication for the Jacksonville Home Depot stores. That's another 1/3. So if you go into Home Depot to buy a countertop, it's coming from us. And then the balance is custom builder work, some retail and commercial. We are very diversified now. When we went over the cliff in early 2007, we were 99% production builder. Behold, that didn't work. But yeah, that's family. And
your girls? And your girls?
They're good. The oldest is just turned 33, Madeline. And she's the one with the two grand princesses. And Elena is the physical therapist. Madeline is an optometrist. Elena is 30. She's a physical therapist. And Catherine is the baby princess who lives up in Ohio and actually works for us remotely. So I was talking to her. She came down for Christmas, and I said, you know, I've got an optometrist to help me with my vision. I've got a physical therapist to work on my aches and pains. I need you to go into psychology. No, she said no. Can you believe it? All right.
Harlan, if you need a psychologist, I can refer you to my granddaughter.
Well, it's a sports psychologist that I really need. It's my golf game. I tell people I have the physical skills to be competitive, but mentally.
Just so you're not the Antonio Brown of the golf world.
Close.
Even I know what that is. That's right. Okay, thank you so much for your presentation, Harlan. We were very fortunate to hear from you today, and my appreciation and thanks. Any other reminders before we break for the day? I guess not. So let's join in the Rotary motto. Service above self, one promise most who serves best.